Most people assume that being gifted or a genius means getting high grades in school, having a great career, doing everything in an organized way, and being constantly applauded by society. But this is the biggest lie that the education system and a modern society that worships mediocrity have fed you. Here is the shaking psychological truth that you are not ready for, the one that will allow you to rip off the lazy, messy, or misfit labels you've likely stuck on yourself for years. High intelligence and superior talent, when viewed from the outside, usually do not look like a success story, but like chaos. Psychologists call this asynchronous development and low latent inhibition. And when you truly understand this, you will realize with horror that the disorder in your life, that endless habit of procrastination, and that deep dissatisfaction are not failures, but simply the result of a car with a massive engine having no brakes. Right now, you're probably saying, I'm no genius, I can't even clean my room, I can't finish what I start. But here is where it gets interesting. Messiness and disorder are not signs of laziness, they're signs of creative chaos. Here is the bitter truth. Your brain works so fast, generates so many ideas, and makes so many connections that spending energy organizing the physical world, your desk, your room, your files, feels like a waste of time and torture to it. Einstein's desk was messy. Steve Jobs was chaotic. Why? Because their minds were in another dimension. An average brain thinks linearly. It goes from A to B. Your brain thinks in a network. It jumps from A to Z, then circles back to C. That is why people mistake you for someone who is scatterbrained or lacks focus, yet you are seeing the big picture that they cannot. But here is the dark and uncomfortable part that no one wants to admit. The reason you feel inadequate is not because you're incompetent, but because of the curse of the Dunning-Kruger effect. Stupid people are too incompetent to know how much they don't know, so they're overly confident. They say, I can do this, I'm great. But when you enter a subject, you see how deep it is, how many possibilities and risks it holds. This ability to see the big picture scares you and stops you. This is called analysis paralysis. You constantly compare yourself to others and think, I actually know nothing, I'm just fooling people. This is called imposter syndrome. And hold on tight. Only truly talented people feel like frauds, because only they know what perfection looks like and compare their own work to that standard. Another sign is chronic boredom and procrastination. Do you feel your soul draining away when doing simple tasks at school or work? Do the routine jobs that everyone else does normally feel like death to you? This is not laziness, this is cognitive hunger. Your brain is like a race car that runs on high-octane fuel. When forced to go 20 miles per hour in city traffic, the engine chokes. Intelligence feeds on difficulty. If a task is not challenging enough for you, your brain refuses to release dopamine, and you physically cannot do it. The reason you procrastinate is not because the work is hard, but because it is far below your capacity. You wait until the last minute because only time pressure, or adrenaline, creates a chemical cocktail strong enough to jumpstart your brain. And on that final night, you do in 3 hours what everyone else does in a week. You also possess the curse of overexcitability. The noise in a room, the lights, people's fake attitudes, injustices, these bother you 10 times more than they do other people. Most people's brains filter out unnecessary data, latent inhibition. Your brain does not filter, it takes everything in as raw data. You notice that micro change in someone's tone of voice, that momentary flash of hatred in someone's eyes. That is why crowds exhaust you. This is not a weakness, it's a high-resolution perception system. You're watching in 4K while others are watching in 360p. Naturally, your internet quota, your energy, runs out faster. And the strangest sign? Being a night owl. According to evolutionary psychology, average people are programmed to work during the day. However, brains with evolutionarily novel traits, meaning superior, can bend their biological clocks. The silence of the night is the only moment when distracting stimuli, people, noises, expectations, disappear. Your brain can only hear its own noise when the world shuts up, and it is no coincidence that you find your most creative ideas at 2 a.m. If what I've told you sounds familiar, stop and take a deep breath. You are not broken. You are simply running on a different operating system. You're like a Linux computer trying to run in a world with Windows installed. You're incompatible, you're complex, but your potential is limitless. If you want to break this cycle, stop trying to fix yourself. You can't put a propane tank on a Ferrari and use it as a taxi. You need to take it out on the highway. First, seek tasks that challenge you, not routine ones. Don't suppress your chaos, channel it. Second, stop calling yourself lazy. Instead, say, I have run out of fuel or interest, and find a new fuel source. Third, love your loneliness and your incompatibility. That's the filter of your quality. The day you stop trying to fit yourself into average boxes, you'll see that the things you thought were flaws are actually your superpowers. The world is full of compliant people. There are enough of them. The world needs chaotic geniuses like you.